Good morning, Moldies. Welcome to Tuesday Morning Musings. I had a request from a favorite patient of mine to talk about my favorite gene today, so I figured I would do that. And it's my favorite gene not because it's a good gene, so don't get confused about that. It's my favorite gene because it spells out motherfucker. Yeah, you got it right. The gene's name is MTHFR. And many of you probably know about this gene because most of my people with mystery illness have at least one copy of the MTHFR that they are missing. So MTHFR is actually a series of two genes of which we get a copy from each of our parents. So we have 4 copies altogether of the MTHFR gene. Now, most people that are missing one copy probably don't notice. It's not a big thing for them. It's not something that they know about in their common life. If you're missing 2 or more copies of this gene, you probably know pretty early on that something's different in your body. You might not know that you have this genetic mutation, but you know that something's kind of off. 40% of the population is missing 1 or more of these genes that we need. And what the MTHFR gene does is it attaches a methyl group to one of our B vitamins. Methylated B vitamins are necessary for over 400 different detox reactions in our body. If we don't have a methylated B vitamin, we don't do the detox reaction. So that's why I say people that are missing one gene probably don't notice early in life. It's probably later in life that things start to fall off, or like I say, the wheels fall off the wagon. But people that are missing 2 or 3 copies, they usually notice early in life that they start to have things like anxiety or reactions to foods or reactions to medications or sensitivities to the world around them. Having MTHFR also predisposes you to things like early heart disease. And you guys might have met somebody like this. It's a super healthy guy in his late 40s, goes into his primary, has his physical, gets a clean bill of health, and the next day drops dead of a heart attack. He had MTHFR. His body looked healthy. His EKG looked okay. But if you would have looked deeper, if you would have looked at specific inflammatory markers, things like homocysteine levels, which are a way of detecting whether you have where you have a methylation defect. If you have an elevated homocysteine, you for sure have an MTHFR defect. So that's a way around having to do a genetic test. But another way is a lot of you have done 23andMe or Ancestry. These are all good ways to sequence your genome. If you have access to that data, you can upload it into certain machines or programs, I should say, things called Genetic Genie. And for a small donation, I think Genetic Genie asks for $10. When you upload that data, it'll spit out all your genetic mutations that are like functionally minded. So things like your detoxification pathways. This is very useful for your functional provider and for you. So if you've done your testing or your genetic sequencing and you throw it in there, you'll get a really good insight as to how well your body is detoxing. Good news is finding out about your methylation status doesn't have to be a death sentence. It doesn't mean that you're going to end up having heart disease, because the simplicity of it is if you take the right B vitamin, you'll have no long-term consequences. So for more about that, come and see me. And until next week, I hope you have a beautiful week full of sunshines, rainbows, and unicorns. Thanks, guys.